Well, I think I have something I can work it with, and I had to draw it with Sharpie so that I could see it on this dark paper because my light is not great in here today. But anyway, so what I did, just to keep myself straight, X is the land. That's South America. That's the USA, Canada, whatever. That's Europe. That's South. Africa, that's Australia. It is not in proportion. It is not perfect, but I think I wanted to make a pretty design too. So anyway, you could probably do better than I have on this one, but at least you're going to get the idea of what to do with this. So now what I'm going to do, and with children, I think I might just give them some blue paper and some green paper and a piece of poster board or cardstock or whatever, and say cut out the continents and put on there. This is almost backwards. It takes a Rhodes Scholar to figure out. I often say you need a PhD in this or that to function. Like you need a PhD in social media to function in life. You need a PhD in a lot of things, like in geography. A little bit of knowledge is no longer any good. You need a lot of knowledge in a lot of ways. So what I'm doing is I'm cutting out the X areas because this was all too confusing for me. So what I'm going to cut it out, and again, I would not have traced this with black magic, with black Sharpie normally, because I don't like my lines to show, and I could trim them all out. But what I'm trying to do right now is just to give you an idea of this activity. All right, now. There we have the water. So now the dry land is separated from the water, and that's what God did in the early stages of creation. He did not create the sun and the moon, yet he did not create a lamp. He did not create Jesus. He just separated the land from the water, and that's all this lesson is teaching. I will provide the scripture on my website, JackiKellum.com, and this pattern. You might be better to make your own pattern, but and where I found these little pre-cut, and I will say this. Go to Hobby Lobby today and get some if you're going to do this project, because they're 60% off, 24 for like whatever, 80 cents. I can't even do the math. That's like a nickel a piece. You cannot buy the paper for that, and cutting it perfectly is a horse of a different color. So now, if that were beautifully cut out, what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to flip this over and trace this again onto cardstock, but because I didn't flip, I couldn't put it all together. I couldn't, because I didn't flip it over when I traced the outline. The outline's showing. So what I will do for my pattern for myself is I'll flip it over, but I needed some more understanding. Okay, that's essentially what I've done. It's hard to see. I found an outline. I tell you what, you can do. A good way to find this is to find a pattern that's simple enough for you to work with. Is go to Google. Here we go with Google again. Learning to search in Google is an important skill for all of us, whatever age we are. And don't type in outline map of the world coloring pages, COLORING, coloring pages, and someone will have already simplified that thing down so that you can further work with it and create your own pattern from it. That's what I finally did, but it's still not easy enough. But I couldn't find what I wanted, and I just made my own. But go to coloring pages when you're looking for simple designs. Okay, so I'm going to put this on my website. It'll take a day or so for it to get up there. Because I'm actually doing what I don't like to do. I'm doing it before Advent. So for one thing, I'm about to leave on a book tour for my picture book, The Donkey Song. And that's why I'm doing all these things, is to help people understand what happened before God sent Jesus to the world. Because The Donkey Song is a picture book about the donkey who carried Mary to Bethlehem. Why Bethlehem? That's part of the story. Why Mary? That's part of the story. In my opinion, why the donkey? And that's part of the story.